What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs finally wrapped up their 2025 NFL preseason last night, and there are a lot of takeaways with roster cutdowns right around the corner. Let's talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another video on my channel. Before we get into today's takeaways, I want to kindly ask everyone to please like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this and so I can continue bringing you incredible Chiefs content. But without further ado, let's get into these takeaways from the Chiefs preseason finale against the Chicago Bears last night. Now, the first thing that I wrote down after watching that game is the offense looks exciting again. We saw, I think, the best sample of the first team offense that we've gotten all preseason in front of the Chiefs home crowd. And Patrick Mahomes looked awesome. The passing game looked awesome. Isaiah Pacheco looks spry again, although there was a good mix of running backs, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. The left side of the offensive line looking extremely solid once again in preseason. We'll talk about Kingsley later in the takeaways. But still, overall, I thought he was solid as well. I think the offense has proven to you, they're going to be really fun this year. And there's just pass catchers all over the field. There's playmakers all over the field in a way that wasn't the case in previous years, with guys pushing to make this team like Tyquan Thornton and Robert Tonyan. I think those guys are going to contribute. There's just a plethora of talent all over this offense at the skill positions on the offensive line. I think this offense is in a really good spot. Travis Kelce looked great once again. You saw Rashee Rice with the touchdown on the fade route in the back of the end zone. He's your wide receiver one. Wide receiver one is back. What's there to complain about with the offense, really, from what we've seen, with the first team? There's sure things that we can talk about, but I think this Kansas City Chiefs offense is going to get back to throwing the deep ball this year. I think the depth is there. You're not worried about injuries, I think, at wide receiver as much this year. Not saying that guys won't get hurt, but that you can absorb the loss much easier because of the amount of depth that this team now has at the pass catcher position. So, first and foremost, the offense looks awesome, and I'm excited for this season for the offense. Now, my second takeaway is going to be the defensive depth once again in this game. I wasn't a huge fan. Now, the starters on defense look awesome, right? If everyone stays healthy, I think this defense is going to be pretty good. Chris Jones, Christian Fulton. We got to see him after really not seeing him for much of training camp or preseason. I thought he looked good in his snaps. Jalen Watson, the starting linebackers, we trust them. The defense with the starters looks good. Now, when you get the depth out there, that's when things start to fall off a little bit. We saw the Bears mount that comeback late in this preseason game. Granted, it doesn't matter if you win or lose this game in the preseason, but the Chiefs should have won this preseason game. But the defensive depth just utterly collapsed against the Bears backups. So that's going to be something that I hope gets better throughout the season, and maybe it doesn't look as bad as it does now. But I came into this offseason thinking that, or I guess I should say this training camp, thinking that this is one of the deepest Chiefs team we've had, and it still might be, but maybe not looking as true for the defensive side of the football, but we'll see. My third takeaway, so the pass rush, and really I could have made this all one takeaway along with the defensive depth, but I'm just not seeing enough from the guys that the Chiefs have outside of Chris Jones still. The Chiefs only recorded 3 sacks throughout the preseason, one of the worst pass rushes in preseason. Now, how much stock you want to put into that, that's up to you. But look, the pass rush just wasn't quite good in Kansas City Chiefs preseason. And we saw Chris Jones even get triple teamed by the Bears offense last night. It's a Chris Jones and friends pass rush right now with not a lot of guys stepping up. That said, one bright spot that I did notice was rookie Ashton Gillotte. Had a lot of effort plays, was splitting double teams, got called for what I thought was a BS roughing the passer, but maybe that's someone that steps up this season. But really, I think, with that FAU injury, you still have got to add someone at the edge position. You need depth at the edge position. And I think the Chiefs should be scouring other teams' rosters to see maybe who's not going to make it, or if they can try to throw a draft pick at someone else to try and get some juice in that edge room, because they badly need it. And then my next takeaway that I had was about the wide receivers, because look, we talked about Tyquan Thornton already. He just continues to impress. What more is there to say at this point? He looks like a good football player. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to contribute. And man, what a find that would be for the Kansas City Chiefs if he goes out there and has a good season. And when I say have a good season, it doesn't even need to be him going out there and having 500, 600 yards, but can you get 200 to 300 yards, be Marquez Valdes-Scantling, catch a few deep bombs, threaten the defense vertically? If so, that's a huge win for the Chiefs. But really, he's looked like a star throughout training camp and now in preseason. And I've hit on this before, but Mahomes clearly trusts him. Like, Mahomes unleashed that deep ball last night to Tyquan Thornton, of all players. And I think that's going to go a long way towards not only him making this team, but also making an impact during the regular season. And really, the Chiefs have created a good problem for themselves here at the wide receiver position, because, with Sky Moore now being out of here and they traded him to San Francisco, that eliminates one from the equation, makes the wide receiver room a little bit less cluttered. But man, I mean, you have so much talent on this team that it's still going to be a tough decision. Jason Brownlee had another good game last night. Nico Remigio, I thought, did well, and we know what he brings to the table as a kick returner. And Dave Toub really likes him. Do the Chiefs carry 7 wide receivers with that Rashee Rice suspension? If so, there's hope for those guys, but we'll see how many they actually keep. But tell you what, there's some guys now that, have a pathway to making this team, especially with Sky Moore out the door now, one less player in your way. Not that I thought Sky Moore was going to make the team anyway, but yeah, just a lot of talent at the wide receiver position. And I was kind of saying this with my first takeaway, but I think there's more depth in this wide receiver room than there's been in a really, really long time for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then my fifth takeaway is going to be about Kingsley Suamataia, I think the player that has had the most eyes on him this preseason, because we've seen him now look overall solid, and that's what I would call his preseason, is overall solid, but a few plays here and there where he gets badly beat. And he had a couple, again, last night where the one that sticks out to me is the Mahomes touchdown pass to Rashee Rice. Kingsley got caught lacking. And if that was not a quick throw to Rashee Rice, Mahomes would have gotten walloped. And we're still seeing that a little bit. Now, and granted, look, Kingsley, he can get out in the run game. And I think he raises your ceiling in the screen game and in the run game because he's athletic. He's even more athletic than Joe Tooney. Man, he can get out there. He can move. But the pass protection, we're still seeing these lapses. And this is only with 12 or 13 snaps in every preseason game. There's been at least 1 or 2 plays for Kingsley in all those series where it's like, oh, man, he got beat bad on that play. And what is that going to look like throughout the duration of a regular season NFL game when Kingsley is playing every single snap? Is that going to happen 4 or 5 times and Mahomes ends up getting hurt? Because it only takes one bad play for Mahomes to get hurt. I wish the Chiefs would have given Kingsley more run in the preseason. I wish they would have given him more snaps so he can work through some of these kinks that we're seeing. But I guess it's just going to be something that has to get figured out throughout the regular season. And let's just all hope that it doesn't come back to bite the Chiefs and that it doesn't end up in Mahomes being hurt. I still have high hopes for Kingsley. I think he can be a solid guard, but man, some of these bad snaps we're seeing that pop up, in a series of 12 or 13 plays, it's just got me a little bit worried. And then my final takeaway is about the running backs. And I had a few, side notes along with this. I mean, I think the running backs looked good overall last night, but now I'm kind of questioning who's going to make this team because of the way that the Chiefs ran the rotation with, Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith, Carson Steele, those guys. We know Pacheco's making it. Kareem Hunt's making the team, I think, obviously. But we saw that report earlier in the week from Diana Rossini. I almost made a video about it, but didn't have time. She said that the Chiefs have been calling around about trading for a running back somewhere. Now, who could that trade target be? I don't know. I don't know what type of caliber player they're trying to bring in, but it tells me that someone in this running back room was a disappointment to them. And I think it's Elijah Mitchell, Although we saw Elijah Mitchell running with the ones a little bit last night. What does that mean? Is he making the team, or the Chiefs just trying to put out tape so they can maybe get something for him or find him a landing spot? I don't know. Carson Steele was playing late into the fourth quarter after playing a lot with the ones in the last game. So again, I'm not too sure what's going on. But another bright spot, rookie Brashard Smith. We saw him out there with the first team offense. Finally, I was waiting for him to get that opportunity. And he had a couple plays on the Chiefs, one offensive drive. One was a nice catch in the red zone. The other one was a drop, and it would have been a tough catch, not completely his fault. And even though he dropped it, you can see the ability. You can see why he's out there. He has the potential, and the potential to be a damn good receiving back out of the backfield. And despite dropping the ball, like I said, you can tell he's a nightmare mismatch for those linebackers. They can't run with him. They can't. And I think Brashard Smith, look, the Chiefs know what he can do. We've seen enough from him already. The explosiveness is there. He brings a little bit of juice to this backfield. I think the Chiefs have kept him relatively under wraps for most of this preseason, but I think this is a guy that is definitely going to give this running back room a spark that it so desperately needs. And they may add more, but I think Brashard Smith is going to have a role. And I don't think he's going to go out there and run for 500 yards and have another 300 yards through the air or anything like that. But he's going to get snaps. He's going to get touches, and he's going to be making an impact. He's going to pop in those touches that he does get. And I love the element he brings as a receiver out of the backfield. You saw it last night. I mean, and he's another player that I think Mahomes trusts. You could see that receiving background with him. So really excited for him. Curious to see how the rest of the running back room shakes out after cut downs. But yeah, guys, those are my takeaways from the Chiefs preseason finale against the Chicago Bears. Wondering if you guys had any different ones that I didn't hit on in this video. Do you agree with me, disagree with me on mine? Definitely let me know down below. But with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at showmefb. That's all I got for you guys in this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.